people get kind of weird about you. I feel like the longer I've been reading for collective energy, there comes like there is always something in there where it's like people just act weird around you. I don't know. It's like something about your energy will have people tweaking, for lack of a better term. I don't know what it is, but you'll be triggering the hell out of them. Not always negatively, though. But it's like there's something very stimulating about you as a person. Like people have to have an opinion on you. You're one of those people that people don't have like a neutral reaction to you. People always have an emotional one towards you. Like you impact people's emotions by being in the room. There's something about your demeanor that will have people like not knowing how they truly feel about you, right? Because you embody quite a few traits that people universally admire. But at the same time, it rubs people the wrong way because it's like they want it. They want to be like that too. But you know, when you see somebody who kind of like embodies, they're just that girl, that guy, and it creates a skepticism almost, right? It's an ego defense mechanism to where they need to distance themselves from your good qualities so that they don't feel threatened by them, right? And this is kind of interesting because I feel like this has led to you being held to a double standard. Like somebody could cuss somebody out and be ignored, but if you cuss somebody out, oh, it's a problem. Oh, it's World War III. Because it's like, because you have such a direct access to the emotions, anything you say hits. It hits. It could, like, the Five of Swords. This is something where it's like, the level of insight you do have becomes like a weapon. You know how they say, I don't know if this is legally true, but you know how MMA fighters, like, their hands are held to a different standard than a regular person's hands. Like if an MMA fighter punches somebody outside of a ring, I'm pretty sure they get heightened consequences versus a regular person punching somebody else in the face. Right? Because there's like such a skill gap, a knowledge gap, that it is inherently unfair and malicious if you were to unleash that on a person who's not on that level, right? It would be like almost morally wrong. And so it's giving me like that you don't even come for people. Like I feel like there's just because if you did, you're ruining days. Like you're ruining days and people are going to be angry at you. But I feel like even then, when you got something on your mind, I feel like you'll say it. And it is lethal. It is. Just because you just know too much. You know. See, and it's not like you're out there researching others like that, right? But you know, the human mind is different in every human, but there are multiple crossovers and universal structures of the human psyche that definitely are influenced by individuality, but their base is still the same. And I feel like you have a very good understanding of the human psyche to the point where you know people's motivations. It's not even like at the spiritual level yet. This is purely like the cognition you have, the insight that you have into the human psyche. And that alone makes arguing with you hell on earth. We're just gonna get into this, guys. Ooh, we got the Empress. This is understated energy. The Empress is known not for brute force. The Empress can say a couple things and it's gonna happen. Think of it, this is an evil example, but think of Cersei, where Littlefinger was like, knowledge is power, and she goes like, no, power is power. And then she like sees him, cut his throat. Oh wait, I changed my mind. Let him go. That is what you're giving. That is what you are giving in a non-evil way, right? Because I don't want to sit here and act like you're being malicious, but it's like when you need to whip it out and you need to prove a point will be proven in a couple of words. You don't need to raise your voice. You don't need to make a face. You don't need to defend yourself. All you need to do is open that mouth because you're going to say something that is not expected, predicted, or anything like that. Whatever they think you're about to say is not even close. And so that's what is giving you this like position in the minds of the public. Right? It's like, but again, they don't see you as the Empress in reverse. Like Cersei would be the Empress in reverse, right? But I brought her up to prove a point, like you like to do, right? It gives power. It gives don't mess around because collective does not have time to mince words. I feel like you're going to be direct. Say what's on your mind and you're going to move on. Oof, what is going on? Look, we have the Six of Wands. This is actually such an admirable trait of yours. Like, as much as it gets under the skin of people who want to, like, I don't know, get up in your face and, like, prove something to you, people really admire this because they like a backbone. The Six of Wands is people kind of like admiring a certain trait of a person because they want to embody it, and yours is a backbone. I feel like you have no problem with confrontation because you handle it very well. You don't get out of character, and that's really the crux of it. It's like it's all you. Whether you're chewing them out or not, it's authentically you. And I feel like the universe even appreciates this of you, right? Because sometimes, like, I don't know, a good comeback is worth far more than like any physical act ever could. That it lingers on the mind, and you linger on the mind for multiple different reasons, right? Whether it's people analyzing your traits so that they can embody them themselves, or because somebody had to come face to face with a dragon and they weren't expecting the dragon to, like, I don't know, eat them up, but not in like a crude way, in like a very elegant way, a way that makes sense and not an ad hominem attack. That's ultimately why people like your backbone, because you're not talking about people um, in a way to like cut them down, right? Like calling somebody unattractive, saying they're stupid. Like, I feel like you're just not doing that. I feel like whatever you have to say comes from like a truth almost. It comes from a level of insight that, I don't know, they're just not ready to hear it, but they need to hear it. So ultimately, while they might hate you in the moment, I feel like 2 weeks later they'll be like, you know what? I think they're right. They must be right. And then people will make changes and see positive results, and they realize that no, you're not trying to cut anybody down. It's like actually you're doing people a favor. Because have you ever seen those tweets like you can tell when somebody's never been told to shut up in their entire life? You're the one that rips that band-aid off, but you do it for the good of the person and not because you're actively like, I care about this person, so I'm gonna chew them out to help them. No, it's like a byproduct. Because of the level of integrity you have and you not going for low-hanging fruit, low blows, it ultimately serves as constructive criticism rather than tearing people down. So this Six of Wands is also the energy that people end up feeling after dealing with you. Like, it's like at first they're like, this bitch trying to cut me down. And actually they feel like they raised themselves up consciously, like in their consciousness, because they took your advice. This is kind of funny. It comes full circle where people will hate you and love you for what you have said to them. And I feel like this is honestly a very special relation to have with people. It's not common, but it is so necessary for growth. Think of it, it's like when somebody doesn't know they're being a jackass, you come in to let them know. And you do it in such a beautiful way because it causes real change, right? We got this Seven of Swords. This is people when people want to skate by with their negativity and their like, all that baggage, and they come around you, it's like a blanket gets ripped off because they'll be walking around in public like in Harry Potter with the cloak of invisibility, right? And it's like they can hide it so well, right? From themselves too. But when they come around you and they start acting a certain way, I feel like it's like, oh, okay. It's like, I don't know, you've been summoned. It's like you've been summoned. And so I wanted to say at first, like, this probably makes people walk around eggshells, right? No, no, no. It's like almost like they're begging to be revealed by somebody like you. Think of it like this is very extreme. Think of it like a serial killer who actually wants to get caught by the cops, so they play a game. People want to know themselves. Even if they're scared of it and spent their whole lives running from it, they still desperately want to know themselves. So when they're around you, they know it's about something's about to get ripped off. Something like the blanket's about to get torn asunder because you can see through it. And it creates a mix of like, thank God, like, yes, bitch, tell me who I am, right? So I can grow. And then the like, no, please don't. I don't think I'm ready to hear it yet. But it's like your energy is like, no, you're never going to be ready to hear it ever, because the mind doesn't seek change, it seeks comfort. So you'll never be ready. So when they're in your presence and the band-aid, the blanket, it's all ripped off. In the moment, it's like raw, right? They feel exposed, only to then realize, wait, like I actually have more autonomy and agency. So that is why I feel like spirit loves the slick mouth you have, because it comes from a place of love. You know, nothing you'll tell a person will be a lie. That's one thing about you. Nothing you tell a person will be a lie. These are interesting cards. It's like a life cycle. The first one's like the Page of Wands. This is giving me the raw skin, right? The uncovering of the true self after, I don't know, they got chewed out, right? Or they've and it's more like it's a personal recognition that happens. You create a cascade of effects. But look, the ultimate thing of the Page of Wands is inspiration, youthful inspiration, but in here it's giving me new skin. It's giving me the ego kind of being laid bare but not shattering. So you actually get rid of a major fear of people. They feel like if they know themselves truly, they're going to have to answer to it. No lie they'll ever be able to tell themselves again will work, and it's true. But you show people that living within the truth of who you are, even if there's negativity within that, is far more worth it than wearing a mask and pretending that you don't know what's going on, And I feel like that at one point in time, this I feel like you did this to yourself too. Like, I don't know, because you have this level of perception. I wanted to say like somebody did this for you, but it's like the level that you're on, it's almost like you did it for yourself too. Because I feel like you can only operate in this level of purity if it comes to you like you've done the work within to find these answers for yourself, even like when you had to tear down the false personas, the false masks. And the fact that you recognized it naturally is kind of mind bending, because usually people need an outside source and you are the outside source, but your source came from like the divine telling you stuff, and you actually having the ears to listen, but not only that, the gumption to take action on it. And this, honestly, it's a bit shocking, because if you really break it down, it's like, how can you lie to yourself, but you knew you were lying to yourself? And so then you just started telling yourself the truth. And that's a function of all people. Everybody lies to themselves, right? Not everybody's raw dogging reality. but you are. And it's like you came from, I don't know, like a place of like ignorance into a place of enlightenment through your own observations and your own ability to listen to guidance. And the fact that you give this back in such a pure form really has Spirit being like, okay. And look, now I was going to bring up the life cycle. We have the Knight of Wands, the page to the Knight. This is the growing personal autonomy, the kind of almost giddy, reckless feeling of like, oh my gosh, I don't have to lie or hide anymore. And it's like people discover a whole host of things about themselves, namely being what do they actually want to go do with their life instead of lying to themselves. So you'll have people feeling like kids again, teenagers again, right? That's really what's funny. And then look at this. We don't even get to the king, we get to strength. This is having a handle over the ego. This is absolutely knowing who you are and knowing how to control yourself. And so, this is the thing that people are afraid of, the lion, the beast. They're afraid it's going to devour them if they're like in the same room as it, but it's like you're already there. And it is eating you alive, right? You just think that it's not, but it is. And the only way it stops eating you alive is if you get your hands and clamp it over its mouth. And so it's giving Beast Tamer. It's giving Beastmaster. It's giving me like you run the circus here. You run the circus and people are actually like learning from it. This is something that is rare. This is rare because it's like you teach by example, but it's like you do it right and that's why it works. Cuz usually when somebody, I don't know, when they have a very personal way of doing things, like if other people try to do it too, it's usually like fails catastrophically, but there is something universal about the way you handle things. To like I said in the, I don't know if I said this in the beginning, I think I did, but about like individuality, but the base structure, it really like it hits home here by the way that you can talk to people and see them. You see the base human experience plus their personality and how it influences those things. And that's what makes the human mind so complex to begin with. There's 8 billion people on this world with 8 billion distinct personalities. Yes, I know people can copy each other's personalities, but if everybody's being authentically themselves and honest, you'll have overlap, but you will never have an identical experience to another, you know? And the fact that you have insight into that and you can tailor made the way you talk to people depending on that is really it's impressive. Like I feel like you'll give like people with degrees in this shit a run for their money. We have the Six of Cups. The Six of Cups is all about nostalgia, childhood, but the bittersweet realization of rose colored glasses not being on when you're looking back. And again, this is speaking to motivation, to root problems, to where a lot of stuff actually occurs. You know, look at the cycle or the people dancing, like it's all happy, but it gives me a cycle, right? And then there's something sketchy about the cup handing off. Like it's just giving me like there's something here where people feel like you do see them. And something about this also gave me the Colosseum and the Lion's Den. Like talking with you is almost being put into like a gauntlet, but they're not fighting other people, they're fighting themselves. But again, as long as they rise to the occasion here, it seems like people progress in your presence. Like you're the type of friend, person, lover that actually like makes people around them grow instead of like enabling people's toxicity. And you're the type to leave too. If you realize that leaving will cause is the catalyst for them to change, you'll do it with no hesitation. Right? You're honestly really good at loving people from a distance. Loving them from a distance because you realize that some people like you can't heal around a whole host of people. Some people need to be told what it is bluntly, directly, and left alone. you know? And that may sound harsh, but I feel like you understand that you're actually doing people a favor by not handholding them. It's like you tell them the information, and if you determine that they need to get up on their own 2 feet, you'll allow that. Like that's what gives you the teacher vibe. And it's giving me like a foal from a horse. And how like you don't need like as a farmer or as a like you're not technically supposed to go help the horse stand up because it needs to stand up on its own first. Like the very first time it gets up, it needs to do it by itself, right? To really gain that like autonomy or like to be a horse, you know? So there's something here, it's like where you can truly see what people actually need and you'll give it to them, even if it makes you look like the villain in the moment. Like, I feel like you embrace that. The amount of times you've gone from villain to anti hero in people's lives is it's frequent. And anti hero is specific here. I saw somebody describe the hero as the one who waits until the last moment to save the day, whereas the anti hero is the one who can see things are about to happen and then preemptively take action. And that's why I feel like you're giving me anti hero because in the moment they'll be like, oh my God, evil, evil, evil. And then 2 weeks later, like, oh, wait, they just did me a massive favor, right? Prevented you from needing rescue at the last minute. That's what you do. And that's what I meant by enabling agency instead of enabling helplessness. You know, some people could see you as abrasive even sometimes. But ultimately, like think about it like this. How do you get rust off of metal? With a paper towel? No, you need a wool scrub. You need a metal scrub brush and chemicals, right? You need some baking soda, vinegar, and a wool cloth, a steel wool cloth to get the rust off, you know? And so it's like you really know what you're doing here.